is the 15th. I think that's recording. Now, I think one's that one, isn't it? That one's
Oh, thank you.
lovely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so with, like, really, we've got half hour, and you can talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. It's nothing.
I'm gonna move over.
Oh, I'll just. There we go.
Is that good?
Yeah. It's nothing specific. Just
Okay.
what if there's something on your mind that you want to talk about. I've just got to, the purpose is I've just got to demonstrate that I can relate to you in a way that's age appropriate.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah. So look, up to you.
Okay.
If you've got anything particular on your mind, go. We'll talk it out. If not, I'll ask you random questions.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay. So you're asking me a question?
Just what's the most prominent thing on your mind at the moment?
Probably my schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
So this design project is basically around like 1980s themed, and you have to make something innovative.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to make 12 pages of design brief. So
12 type pages?
Yeah, so 12
Oh.
different pages, and you have to make a video of the design, but you have to do something relating to, I think it was fashion, something like a game board like that, or furniture, or anything like that, and it has something that can also go on a website or an app, or something based on technology.
Okay.
And you have to take something from the 1980s era and bring it back that would interest like youth from
From now?
this era.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm making the game board, because it's kind of like 1980s themed with the disco ball and everything. But like if I sync it to an app, then it can play music while it goes like 1980 hits and stuff.
How on earth do you sync it to the app? Like, do you mean putting little electrodes in the thing, or?
Yeah, probably. I've worked with like these micro bits. I've worked with that before, and I made like a cane for blind people. So it's like a cane, and it has like ultrasonic sensors on it.
What?
And it was also a design project. I had to make something for the accessibility of people who can't like hear or can't see, and we chose people who can't hear, and so we focused on that. And so yeah, we made a cane, and it had ultrasonic sensors on the stick.
Right.
And so whenever it comes close to someone, it beeps. And we also made it so that the end, like the ball, there's always like that.
Yeah.
It's normally a rubber,
Yes.
but that produces a lot of friction. So
It does.
every time they put it on the ground, they like
Yeah,
stuff
the
a little
jolt.
bit.
Yeah.
And so instead of doing that, we actually made like a socket out of 3D printing. So it's like and then inside you can carry a ball in the actual socket.
Oh, so it turns in the socket.
Yeah, it turns in the socket, so it can go any direction. It just like goes on any type of surface, so that it's easier to roll on. And so yeah, we took that to an entrepreneurs event, Moreton Bay's entrepreneurs event, and yeah, they took it on stage. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's phenomenal.
yeah, I love doing those type of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which elements of those activities do you love? Is it the design, the creativity, or what you're doing it for, or all of the above?
I think it's the design and who I'm doing it for, probably, because I always relate it back to the people that I'm like doing it for, because I obviously love people, and I always like doing something for a purpose. Like I wouldn't just want to design something just
For the
because
heck
it's
of it.
because it's a project. So
So
yeah.
what have you? I know you've got to meet criteria for your project, but what have you got in mind? Like, have you got a bigger purpose in mind for your game?
For my game, it's more to draw the family together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, like it's more for the youth, but I think the youth coming closer to their family. I think like it's an easy thing to play with their family, and that it's fun as well, and they can use technology. So yeah, I think something like that.
That is so cool.
Draws attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that has to be due on Friday, with the design brief and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So that's a good subject for you. Like, is it a stressful subject, or are you?
It's actually one of my relaxed subjects.
Okay.
But because we had so much time on it, but I only just like found out like 2 weeks ago what it's really about. Because we had an exam and we had this, but it's like a very long process, like designing the stages and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably one of my hardest subjects are like chemistry and math methods or something like those ones are a bit more, you have to think more, I think.
Okay.
Think about things, concepts more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how are you going with like just all of the subjects in general? Is this like do you feel like the stress or pressure building, or you feel like you're coasting at the moment? Like, where do you see yourself at the moment as far as schoolwork goes?
I think I'm pretty average at the moment. I think it's very different, like transitioning from year 10 to 11. Year 10, it's kind of like spoon feeding you, like they tell you what you have to do, but in year 11 you have to work it out. Like some concepts you have to work out yourself as well. And I think that's good. That's good that I can learn that now, because in year 12, then I'll be able to really grasp the idea that, oh my goodness, it's like something that I need to figure out on my own. Yeah, but yeah, I didn't know that math methods will go so fast. Like it just goes, like every lesson we learn a new topic, and I wasn't really aware of that. And when it came to assessments, I had to rush everything at the last minute because it went so fast. But yeah.
And it didn't feel too stressful for you, or was it overwhelming?
Yeah, it was pretty overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
But I just decided to keep going because I know what I have to do now. Like, if I learn a topic each day, then I go home and I do that topic. I do the whole subchapter. Yeah. And then, so I do that every day.
Okay.
Try and do that every day.
Yeah.
And that helps me, because at the end of the term, I don't have to do everything at once. Yeah.
So do you feel like fairly supported at school? You feel like you've got good support from friends or teachers, that sort of thing?
Yeah. Probably not so much teachers.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes they're just there to do, like, you know, their job, and then they go home and stuff. But a lot of support from my friends, because they know how it feels, and I think it's more just like going on and keeping motivated and determination. So yeah.
What would you say is the most helpful? Like, if you were to think about when your friends are the most helpful, what's most helpful for you?
For my friends?
Well, just what they do that you find helpful and encouraging.
Oh yeah. I think it's more like knowing that they're going through the same thing as me, because a lot of them do the same subjects.
Yeah. And
when I see that, I look back into my studies and what I'm learning, and I'm just like, oh, if they can do it, then I can do it too. You know, like, just acknowledging that they're also going through it with me. Yeah. Like, I'm not going through it alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that helps me.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And so, like, in times, I don't know, what does it look like for you to feel when you're feeling really stressed? What does it look like? What does Talita look like in those moments?
I normally finish things all the time. Yeah. But I would stay up really late at night, like making sure that I know everything. Yeah. And I never like to do things halfway. Yeah. Like, I would sit and I would read it and I'd be like, am I satisfied with this? Yeah. So I'd never just give up on something, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're very, very diligent and work hard.
I try to, yeah. Sometimes I'm a bit too harsh on myself sometimes though. Like, I think sometimes I try to fit too many things in my life. Right. And then they're all, just kind of clash, and then it's like so many things. Yeah. But, yeah.
So you feel, at the moment, is there too many things, or you feel like you've got a good balance?
I think right now I've just acknowledged that I'm in high school and that school is the focus. Obviously, God first.
Yep.
And I'm trying to read my Bible more often and making sure that I give time for God, because He is my strength when I do my homework. Like last term, I feel like I was stressing too much.
Yeah.
But when I realized that Jesus will give me strength, you know, like I don't have to be stressed.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm putting into my life right now, is making sure that I give time for God, Jesus, so that I can do my best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you are?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not
Definitely.
beating yourself up for not doing too much or too little? Like you feel like you've got a good balance?
Yeah, and also like I go to youth on Friday nights and church, and that gives me certain aspects of my life, like my social aspects, and spending time with Jesus. Obviously my family is very important as well. Like if I just do my homework 24/7, like that's not going to happen in real life.
No.
So
yeah, that's actually really clever to figure that out, actually, because you probably know or have known of people that like just their life is absolutely absorbed into work, and that's just all their life is.
Yeah.
It's just like
Definitely.
even just recognizing the fact that you've got different areas and to balance it out is pretty amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, and just developing those social skills are very important for life as well. I think like when you're talking to, there's very different people around, like around your life. So yeah, it's good to just because I have many different type of friends. Like there's many different type of beliefs, and their personalities are so different.
Yeah.
But it's good to be able to be friends with them, because then you know, like that you're good with just having a relationship with them.
Yeah, being able to relate.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah, there's certainly different personalities.
Yeah,
in any environment, whether it be school or work or church or the shops even. It's just being able to relate to people. And you seem to have such a heart for particularly vulnerable people. I would say. Is that accurate?
Definitely. I remember the first time, well, not the first time in South Africa, we built this house for this young family, but they had no parents. Like they were just brothers and sisters. Some of them were just friends as well, but they had no home. They had no parents. Like they were sleeping on the ground. They had no food or anything. And we as a church, we built them a house. And I was a part of that too. I was only 7.5 years old, but I would take those kids and I would just play with them, you know, like we would feed them hot dogs, and then I would go out there and just play. And I think that was really good for them, because to see the joy that they still have, even though they have like nothing, like they were just happy. Like all that I saw, I never saw crying. I always just saw them laughing when they were around me, and that was really special for me. And I think that's when I had my first encounter of really what I'm here for as well, like for people, and to help people and to be there for people, I think.
And the fact that you can remember that so clearly at 7.5, that's, it's obviously made a huge impact.
It was probably when I was 6, because 7.5 was when I moved to Australia.
So it would have been before that.
Probably, a bit before that.
Jeez.
So that was really a good experience, and I think, that's what God can help me through.
Yeah. All right, one more tricky question.
Yeah.
Well, it may or may not be tricky, depending on how you see it. What do you find most challenging? Just in general, what's most challenging for you?
I think sometimes it's keeping my focus on what I'm doing right now. I feel like I always have things running through my head, like always. My brain is never like just, I'm right here and can I just focus on this? It's thinking about like a million different things at once.
Do you think into the future, or do you think back into the past, or like where is your mind? Both. Okay.
So I think of what I have to do next and what I can do next, and I should do this. But also like solving like other things, like sometimes math stuff in my head, and from the past I'm thinking of like experiences, but like everything's going at the same time while while I'm talking to like you right
Yeah,
now
yeah.
as well.
So yeah, you're thinking of the past and the future and the project that you've got to get back to, and
yeah. So that's really what bothers me so much about myself and what I'm struggling with.
Okay.
Is just to rest my brain sometimes and just be like, oh, just focus on this thing.
So how do you rest your brain?
Definitely sleeping.
Yes, that's one good thing.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
And also just being still. Because obviously I can't just be still on my own. Being still with God, obviously, because He makes me not think about other things. Because I can't do that by myself, I guess.
Yeah.
And so He really helps me with that.
So what does that look like for you, being still with God?
Sometimes I come out here,
Mm-hmm.
or I go outside, or I'm just in my bedroom, and I'm just like, I close my eyes, and then I just think, I normally see just like this bright light.
Okay.
Like even though I'm closing my eyes, I always see this bright light.
Wow.
And then I just like, I listen to my breathing a lot. Just
That's
like listen to my
awesome.
breathing and think about that.
Yeah. That's actually a really clever, simple but brilliant strategy.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who's got a mind that races and jumps
Yeah.
all over the place. It's like a grounding, the ability to bring yourself into the present moment.
Yeah, it is.
And by focusing in on one particular thing, or and making it a spiritual thing with God, or focusing on your breathing.
Yeah.
That's really important and great that you've discovered that already. Like,
yeah.
that'll go a long way.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that, like, I mean, I think I've covered what I need to cover, but anything else on your mind that you want to chat about, or is everything all good?
I can tell you about one of the greatest experiences of my life.
I would love to hear this.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I was in year 5, I ran states. Or just before, I had a really sore leg, and I was training like twice a day or something like that. And I had a real sore leg, so I went to the physio, and they said it was just shin splints. And so I was like, I'm not going to miss out on states just because I have shin splints, because it's not really a big deal. And so I ran the race, and it turns out that I actually had a broken fibula, which is this bone over here.
Yes, yeah.
And so I fainted after the race, but I still got in. But I broke the leg, so I couldn't run anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So I had a moon boot on for ages, and then the next year, because I have like a low pain tolerance, is that right?
A high pain tolerance?
Probably high.
Because
I always get mixed up.
Because if you had a broken leg and you still ran,
I can't
you
feel
definitely
pain.
So high pain tolerance.
Probably,
yes,
yeah.
You can
I always
take
get
high
mixed
levels
up.
of pain.
Yeah.
Low is, you think of wimps. Low to pain tolerance.
Probably low pain intolerance.
High pain tolerance. Yeah. So that was year 5.
Year 5. Yeah.
Okay.
When I was 12 years. No,
Yep.
12 years old. No.
11
years
or
old.
10. Whatever.
Can't remember. And then I was in year 6, and I also had a really sore leg, the same leg, and I just thought it was the runoffs for nationals, cross country in year 6, and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna run this, and then it's 3 kilometers, and then I'm done. And I like, running was my dream. Like that's what I loved, and I trained so hard for it, and I wasn't just gonna give up. And so I ran the race, and I came, like, I was leading until like 100 meters before the finish line. I went down on a downhill, and I completely collapsed. And it turns out that the 2 muscles surrounding my femur were torn even before I ran the race. And while I was running, it digged into the femur, and when I fell, it actually went into the femur, so it broke the femur, and then it cracked the knee as well. So there was literally nothing really holding.
So when you went down,
together.
did you pass out or just collapse?
I collapsed because everything was just like broke.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and so my parents ran after me, and they're like, "Why aren't you running?" And I was like, I can't move my leg, like, and I was crying because I couldn't do anything, like, it wasn't even attached anymore, really. So
Horrific.
so we raced to the hospital, and they said it was the worst breaks, like, ever, like one of the worst breaks the child could ever have. And I was only like 12, and so they put me on endone, and they said I'd never be able to run again, and that was my dream. I was like, why? And 2 weeks after that incident, I was still on endone, but it got even worse. Like, I was falling down the stairs, and I was begging for more endone because
it was pain.
Yeah, it was so much pain. And my dad was in a meeting, and his friend told him from South Africa, he's like, I need to pray for your daughter. And but he was in South Africa, so he just did it on FaceTime. So my dad rushed home. He turned the FaceTime towards me, and I was just like in shock. I was just like that was my leg while I was lying down, so I couldn't get a position or anything. So he prayed for me and prophesied over my life. And the next day, I didn't feel any pain. I was doing my devotions. I was looking out the window, and I saw 2 kangaroos, in the back of our backyard. And then we went to the beach, and I saw 2 dolphins. And it was, I don't know how that relates to my story or anything, but then I was like, I'm just gonna try to walk. And so I left the crutches, and I just started walking. And it was the day after I had the worst pain. And I just started walking, and then I started running, and now I'm still running. So a miracle happened in my life, and I was just like,
that's extraordinary. So have you had scans and that of your leg in that since?
Yeah, and they said they can't explain. They said they wrote a paper down. They were like, can't explain this miracle.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was just like,
Yep.
I can never doubt anymore.
It's extraordinary, and the fact that it was confirmed with the 2 and 2, like obviously you noticed the 2 and 2.
Yeah. It's still amazing. Part of my story, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. That is a cool story.
Thank you for listening.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't wait to see your finished product on your have you got a name for the disco ball game?
I was thinking like Marble Madness or Disco Marble Madness, because I don't know, it just sounds 1980s.
Marble Madness. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, I just think that really pops that sentence.
Well, good on you. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you. That's fun.
Well,
the tea's getting cold.
Yes, drink your tea. And the battery lasted, so that's good.